All right, so after three trading sessions of a positive opening in Nifty and the worsening global cues today, which are pushing Nifty negative 2% today, where do we currently stand? And what are the global cues that you can't simply miss and which have changed the overall dynamics of the picture that we were seeing until yesterday? And what is the disastrous news that is coming from the Indian economy, which everybody should take a note of, and which will literally shaken up the Indian economy today. We will discuss each one of them and where do traders and investors stand. What should you do as a trader? What am I doing? We'll discuss all of these things in this video. So today is 19th of March and we are at the pre-opening levels of today's market. And let's quickly dive in. My name is Abhishek and you're watching Trader Hikes Live. Now let's quickly go through all the macro news which is coming from the global space. Now, yesterday, Iran and Israel war with Iran and US war has intensified after their attack in Iran's biggest gas facility, which is at South Pars. Now, Iran has issued a warning after being absolutely terrified. They are so terrified that they now have said that whichever country is now in the Middle East and is producing oil and gas, we will attack all your gas facilities and oil facilities. So it's better that you should evacuate all these spaces. Now, they have already attacked Qatar yesterday, and Qatar has issued a letter that their gas facility has been attacked, but they are not happy with that now because they are not getting targeted on their major strategic assets. Now, US, which is the ally of Qatar, has said that we were not aware of who of this attack on Iran's South Pars gas facility. How can this be possible, guys? This essentially shows that Qatar must have told US that boss, you should take care of your stuff because I am getting hit right now, and this is too much of a damage for me. So this means that US is saying that all right, I mean we planned for this, but this did not go as we expected. So it's better to now tone down our attack on Iran. They are saying that we will not attack your South Pars gas facility again. This is what the US is saying. Now moving on, the intelligence minister of Iran has been terminated. This has been confirmed by Iran. Now this war which was started between Iran and Israel and was supported by US has now become a overall Middle Eastern hotspot war. Now this is no more a war about the hegemony. This is no more the war about the person who is running these countries. It is now the war for resources, and it is outrightly clear. And it will remain to be the war for out resources. So only the resources and whosoever protects their resources will survive this war, else it will continue for a longer period of time. However much both the sides of the war say that you should tone down your uh, attack volumes. Now there was a Fed meeting yesterday in the United States, and in the last Fed meeting we saw that the Fed chairman was indicating that there are two rate cuts lined up for this year. However, in yesterday's meeting, they did two important things. Number one, they did not change the policy rates in the US. The policy rates have remained exactly the same, which was already indicated by the bond market. Secondly, they said that we have just one rate cut lined up for this year instead of two what they committed earlier, because they are saying that inflation is slightly on the higher side and the overall economic numbers can be affected because of the war which is going on. So these are the global cues that you should know from the global space. Now comes the Indian economy, guys, and there is something absolutely terrible that we should be hearing, especially in the oversold markets and at levels when people are already suffering in one of the most trusted companies in India, and that's HDFC Bank. So HDFC Bank's chairman, Mr. Atanu Chakravarti, has resigned yesterday, and he left a resignation letter and the reasons also behind his resignation. And the reason behind his resignation will absolutely shake your core, because we have always, trusted HDFC Bank, and this has always been the rationale in India, that even if you go and ask somebody, which is the most trusted bank, everybody would say HDFC Bank. But that thesis is now, turning out to be counterproductive, and has absolutely been shaken to the core after this resignation. Mr. Atanu Chakrabarti has said that he is not aligned with the bad ethics which is being followed in the banking activities in the past 2 years. He has literally questioned the ethics for which HDFC Bank is known for. And he is saying that for the past 2 years, he has been seeing that non ethical practices are being done in this banking activity of the HDFC Bank. Now, what is the implication that we will see today? Now, guys, HDFC Bank holds a biggest weightage in the banking sector, and it will definitely be gapping down. Now, there are two news. I have already made a small YouTube short video on what kind of bad news are there and what should be your reaction, what should be my reaction to those bad news. One is the macro news, guys. Macro is that, the war is going on, somebody, has a trade deal with some other country. I made a video, you can, guys, I'll drop it in the description also. You can go and watch that video. The second kind of news is the micro events, which is what happened in HDFC Bank. Now, if HDFC Bank says that, they are questioning the overall ethics of what the government of the banks, not just today, for the past 2 years, what they are doing, God knows what is cooking inside that bank. And we will discuss the technicals also. I can't pull up the chart because, as you know, that SEBI guidelines do not allow me to do that. But if I were there, I do not hold HDFC Bank. Let me put this as a disclaimer, and this is not a buy and sell recommendation, guys. If I were holding HDFC Bank and I get to hear this kind of a news, then it's no brainer, a complete sell for me. I will today go and sell my HDFC Bank, because there are 4,000 stocks in the Indian stock market which I can go and find later on, but I do not want any sort of a company in my investment or trading portfolio where the question has been raised on the ethical practices of the company and the chairman has resigned. This is a no brainer, simple sell for me. And because of this, HDFC Bank will be doing a major gap down. It is already below its 200-day moving average line. And well, it's a very sad thing. I mean, this is, for me, this is even more sad than, the war which is going on. Because the question of ethics has never been, commanded by Donald Trump. So we already knew that this guy is crooked and he can do whatever he really, want to, without thinking whether it's legitimate, good, and rational or not. But from HDFC Bank, we've always expected ethics and rationality. And now, when that becomes questionable, then I have no more words to say. And, it's a sad news, guys. Nevertheless, when I don't hold HDFC Bank, so I have no damage at present, but the damage is all mental as of now. So let's quickly come to the charts, guys. I'll not take much of your time now, and see of how things are currently looking in the charts. All right. So this is the picture as what we see. So we saw three positive trading sessions in Nifty. These are the blue are the positive trading sessions. And today Nifty is opening gap down. So this red line is somewhere where the Nifty should open 23,300 levels. And this major gap down is primarily being supported and contributed by the HDFC Bank's fall that we see, which should be roughly around 6 to 8%, which is what the ADR was suggesting. So the price haven't settled yet. It's 906. Prices will settle by 908. We'll see where the HDFC Bank is opening. Now, CNX 500 is, so all the indices will open down, so there's no point discussing that. I'll come quickly to the global, commodities. So dollar has again made a new high, and the rupee has weakened to the highest level now. We are seeing rupee now 90, dollar now 93.11. Rupee has weakened to the historical highs, and it's absolutely a bad news, because this is going to have a lot of implications on our import bill. This will have a lot of implications on the current account deficit and the overall purchasing power of each one of us who's living in this country. Well, crude oil is trading roughly below now 96, close to 96 now. So it's all below 100. So as long as it's below 100, it's all good. Otherwise, it's super bad. Metals are touch me not now. Metals are going all week, including gold and silver. So if you haven't seen the video which I made on gold and silver and why I not interested even at these levels, I've explained exactly that in that video. You guys can go to my channel and see what said in that video, because it will clear you a lot of things. And for a trader and investor, you should know what the history has done before, because the history always repeats itself in the stock market. It's just that you just do not take the pain of going back in the history and seeing what happened exactly at that point in time. So I've explained exactly that in that video of what happened, what is happening in gold and silver now, and what happened exactly 45 years ago. You can find that it's the last main major video on my YouTube channel. And if you really like that content, then please do share with somebody who is, still clueless as to what to do in gold and silver. You guys can comment if you have any questions. I'll try to answer them all. So that's it for today, guys. I will not take much of your time, because today's gap down opening needs some preparation, and I will, since I do not hold any major banking stock, no private banking stock is there in my portfolio as of now. And on this fall, I will not be looking to buy any banking stock, because the overall sentiment can remain absolutely low. And HDFC Bank, if I had at these levels, however much is the fall and however much it has already fallen and however much I have waited in this stock, I will exit today. As simple as that. Well, if you have any questions, guys, you can come and ask. I will try to answer them. And Quick Curious Laws log asks me macro news. So macro news refers to reports on broader economic indicators such as GDP, inflation, interest, and employment data. Thank you for making. Absolutely. Macro news means anything that discusses the larger aspect of the economy, which includes GDP data, as you rightly pointed out, and the interested employment data. Absolutely. And for a trader and investor, this also includes anything that is happening not just in India but also globally. So if any rate cut or policy rate change or interest rate change that happens in the US, or if any real estate data comes out from China, that is also part of the macro news, right? And what is the micro news? Micro is something that relates to the most specific thing. Micro एकदम पास से देखने वाली चीज, which means the companies, individual, you know parts which are building this economy are what? The overall companies. So whatever that is related to a specific company is a micro news. And if there is a bad micro news, which means if there's something coming bad from a specific company, then it's a buy or a sell, hard stop for me. If it's good, then it should be bought, and if it's bad, then it should be sold, especially when the overall ethics of the management has been questioned, right? So anything else, guys? If you want to ask me anything else, I can answer that. I will just log into my chat. I hope that answers your doubt, Curious Log. Thank you for asking. Guys, you should participate in the chat section because it is the most important thing. And this, kind of helps both of us to, interact and get to know each other well, and, you know, learn things in a better way. You're most welcome. And so, if there are no questions, it's all right. We'll see tomorrow at 8:45, and today is going to be a volatile session because of the HDFC Bank and the global cues. I'll also gear up for the market, and it's just 2.5 minutes left. Well, thank you so much for joining in, and I think and hope that you have learned something from the video. And I will share the link of these YouTube shorts, that I was telling you about. It's hardly a minute long. You should go and watch and see of how the macro and micro news events, help you take decisions in the stock market, and what should you do when you hear a bad micro news. All right, guys, I'll see you tomorrow at 8:45 a.m. Tomorrow is going to be the last working day, and today is a session which will remain absolutely volatile. And trade safe and be safe. All right, and Jai Hind.